Big Blue Nation filing in the Rupp Arena, ready to watch the Cats take on the Texas Longhorns, riding a 3-game win streak. As we welcome you courtside in Lexington, Kentucky, Matt Schumacher, the former All-SEC big man, Richard Hendricks. About a month ago, this game might not have had the meaning that it has tonight. Both teams started 0-2 in league play. They've since won a combined 5 out of their last 6.
Well, these two teams have really been getting it done in the win column, but I'm interested to see if both of them can have a level of consistency for 40 minutes.
That's something that Kentucky's lacked. What they haven't lacked is strong finishes. You look at the LSU game, trailed by as many as 18. Malachi Moreno, a heroic last-second shot for the 1-point win. Then on Saturday, down 18 on the road to a top 25 Tennessee team. Until, Richard, the final minute of play, Oweh gave the Wildcats their first lead.
Kentucky's been able to show that they've been able to finish with elite level basketball, but the question would be, can they get out of the gate and sustain for the entire match?
That will be important tonight against a Texas team whose offense has been one of the best that the program has seen in recent memory, thanks to Swain, who's one of 2 players at the power conference level to put up those numbers, leading his team in all 5 categories there on your screen. The other, Cameron Boozer of Duke. And it's Texas winning the opening tip in the burnt orange, Kentucky in the home white and blue trim. Swain with the basketball inside Vocatitis. And the tap-in is good. Such a strong offensive rebounding team of the Longhorns.
Yeah, and it starts right there with number 8 in burnt orange. Is Vocatitis. He definitely can get deep position down low and make you pay under the rim.
Andrea Jelavic getting his 3rd consecutive start for a Kentucky team that has won 3 in a row, mounting double-digit comebacks in all 3. Less than 10 to shoot. Here's the SEC preseason player of the year. And Oweh is good with his first jumper.
That's a great job right there. Oweh taking advantage of Vocatitis in that drop coverage, and he pulls up in the mid-range.
Late change for the Texas Longhorns. Cam Heide dealing with an illness. Simeon Wilcher, number 7 in orange, makes his first start of the season, transferring over from St. John's. Jordan Pope finds Tremont Mark, and an errant pass to Swain. Here comes Jelavic. This is an area where both teams have excelled this year. In the open court, running fast break offense, both among the top 15 in the country in that category, as Aberdeen's floater is good.
It'll be a premium. I'm getting back in defensive transition, but which team can execute in a half-court set? And there you see Kentucky moving the ball from side to side. Denzel Aberdeen finding a nice floater in the paint.
Swain rims out a 3. He has not made a 3 since January 6th, now 0 for 7 since.
He's still very impactful in so many ways. If he can get the 3 ball to drop, then you definitely are going to be at his mercy.
Aberdeen rims it out. Jelavic went over the back. The 3-point shooting has been really good for Kentucky during their 3-game win streak. More on that in a moment. But Sean Miller, in his first year at Texas, has talked a lot about sustained focus, sustained energy, sustained effort. They'll need it tonight on the road in a place that is among the hardest to play in the nation.
Well, Sean Miller's done a tremendous job at every stop that he's had. He's known for his development of players, particularly many of his power forwards have been really good players under his watch.
Texas fans hoping Modest Vocatitis is the next international forward to perhaps take Texas to a place they have not been in some years, deep into March. Aberdeen floater, Malachi Moreno, no. And the tap out to Tremont Mark. Vocatitis might have had that tipped by Moreno. Jelavic the other way. Euro lays it in.
That's outstanding end-to-end action, and it started with the effort of Malachi Moreno getting back in transition for the rejection, and then the leak out on the other end for Kentucky. Jelavic with the finish.
Mark Vocatitis felt the contact. Swain, who leads his team in rebounds and scoring among a host of other categories with a putback.
And that's where Texas can definitely take advantage. They get on the offensive rebounds and can pound
Oweh with 4 20-point games over the first 5 of SEC play. Wiggles to the cup, left it short. Moreno, the rebound, was fouled by Texas. Boy, Mark Pope has been on one wild ride this season. Not only the injuries that his team has sustained, no Jaden Quaintance again tonight. Of course, the news last week that Lowe will be out for the year. Lost 2 games to start league play. A lot of noise, Richard, here in Lexington around the program. But credit to Mark and his staff. They looked inward, made the changes with the tough conversations, and have come out the other side, at least for now.
Well, they got the big win against Mississippi State to get them off the schneid in SEC play. And the confidence has started to continue to grow. The roster, as you touched on, a few injuries, which in many ways, when you now have a shortened roster, and you have the rotations are shortened up, it gives more confidence to the players and the coaching staff as far as making decisions of who to put on the court.
Brandon Garrison comes in off the bench. 7-4 lead for Kentucky, nearly 4 minutes gone in Lexington. Texas similarly lost their first 2 games, including an overtime loss in the opener to Mississippi State. Then they went on a nice run, beating Alabama and handing Vanderbilt their first loss of the year. Outclassed by Texas A&M over the weekend, in the words of Sean Miller. 3 to shoot for Pope. In trouble. And that did not even draw iron. Jelavic wrestles it away, and here come the Cats. Aberdeen through the bump. And Tremont Mark, who's led Texas in scoring in SEC play, bringing the ball down the floor.
He's a veteran, and he knows how to get buckets. And this is a game they're going to need him to have to heat up, as Kentucky seems to be very spirited on the defensive end.
Wow, what effort by Dalen Swain. Took Jelavic to the prom on the block. He will get a chance at a 3-point play to tie the game when we return in Lexington. As we talked about in the open tonight in Lexington, 2 monster comeback efforts by the Cats over the last 2 games, spurred by the play in the second half of their point guard, Denzel Aberdeen.
Well, the veteran guard has started to find his groove, and he's been able to fill it up from outside and taking advantage of the dribble drive to get in the paint at will.
18 of his 22 points in Knoxville on Saturday came in the second half. And that right there, that stat line for Aberdeen, is really a microcosm of what we've seen, Richard, from the team. Playing better defense, playing with more urgency, shooting the ball better in the second half.
Absolutely right. And if you're a Kentucky fan, you definitely see what this team is capable of doing. But you only have to ask the question, can we see it for the entire 40 minutes? With the SEC being wide open, it's a lot of room to grow for the Wildcats.
Mark Pope this week was asked, Richard, multiple times by different members of the local media, how do you get your team to play in the first half like they've been playing in the second half? And I thought he had an interesting answer to that. He said, you know, part of it is we are not asserting our own will on the game. We've been a more reactionary, responsive team, which isn't all bad because they figured out how to be resilient. They figured out how to impose their will later in games, and so far it hasn't hurt them. They've won 3 in a row despite double-digit deficits.
Well, it's a lot of opportunity for this team to continue out what their identity is and figure out how to get off the better starts. And the good thing for them, with the 3 wins in a row, they're staying at the top of the pace of the league.
Dalen Swain completes the 3-point play, tied at 7. 15 minutes to go in the opening half. Oweh. Well, it looked like he was crossed up on whether or not to shoot it or float it to his teammate. Dioubate says, I'll clean that up. And he has a chance at 3.
Well, that's what Dioubate does. He brought him over from Alabama to do a lot of the dirty work. And you see him getting after it with the activity, physical down low, and the extra effort to muscle that one up. And now the and one opportunity.
Despite his injury, forcing him to miss 5 games with an ankle, this is statistically the best season of his career. And he does complete the three-point play. Dioubate averaging 10 and 6.
He's been able to come in and be impactful. And particularly you see what he's been able to do in the wins that Kentucky is able to manufacture as of late.
A good hedge there by Brandon Garrison. Knocks it out of bounds. 17 to shoot. Side out for Texas.
Now, Texas is the team. When they get their offensive rhythm, they can score with the best of them. They have 5 players that you're going to have on the court right now that are going to be threats. And the way that they run their offense, they take their time, they cut strong to the basket, and when you're able to catch you sleep, they can take advantage of it.
Texas averaging 86 points per game. It's the most since the mid-90s for the Longhorns. Again late in the shot clock. 4 to go. Oh, and elevating on the baseline, it's Kendall Weaver.
Really good job by Kendall Weaver. A decisive rip through, and he gets on the baseline. No help side rotation for Kentucky.
Dioubate kept it alive as the Johnson Garrison 3. No. And Dioubate cannot save it.
You can see Kendall Weaver as he gets that quick first step, and Kentucky slow rotating over, and a seal off of Garrison, not allowing him to come and contest that at the rim.
Weaver, one of 3 returners from a team that actually lost to Sean Miller's Xavier Musketeers last year in the first 4. Jordan Pope and Tremont Mark both returning from that team as well. Mark with the basketball, defended by Oweh. Tries a 3. Off the line. Good rebound underneath by Traore. And Cam Williams unable to corral it inbounds. It'll stay here with Texas. 14 to shoot.
Good hustle by both of these teams. Side out of bounds opportunity. Texas elected to go isolation right there with Mark and Oweh, 2 really good athletes on the side. To see what they have lined up here on the sideline out of bounds.
Wilcher with 5. Good defense, Colin Chandler. 2 to shoot. Deep 3, Weaver. A great defensive sets by Kentucky, and the foul will go against Texas. They have made Texas work for all 9 of their points.
This is going to be a game, both teams understanding the importance of this win. It's going to be a grind out battle, particularly with both teams trying to execute their half-court offense. A premium, not trying to allow easy baskets in transition.
Modest Vocatitis back in for Texas. Traore goes to the bench with 2 fouls already. Jasper Johnson too heavy. Here comes Jordan Pope. Swain scoops it in with the right hand.
You see the tremendous level of skill set. And Swain coming that left to right crossover, able to get his man leaning and takes it all the way to the cup.
Garrison given all kinds of space. Vocatitis with a rebound. Jordan Pope has scored in double figures in 3 straight games. Dalen Swain, no. Vocatitis, yes. His second offensive putback.
There you see the toughness on the inside of Modest Vocatitis. And he's on the defensive end. You're going to see him staying back in drop coverage, trying to protect the rim. If you're Kentucky, you have to make the adjustment to understand the shots will be available in the mid-range.
Kentucky just 1 for its last 8 from the floor. Oweh stops a 6-0 Texas run.
And there you see Oweh taking advantage. They come off that screen roll, and he does a tremendous job of snaking it as Vocatitis stays back, and it knocks down the mid-range jumper.
Great play by Oweh. Watch out. He has been so good, particularly in SEC play, at jumping passing lanes, and they are rising to their feet again at Rupp Arena. 1-point lead. Swain in the paint. over the top of Dioubate, draws a foul on the Alabama transfer.
Kentucky with an early lead, and it's Oweh, always with the active hands, relentless, running through the pass, and he's taken off. The beautiful dunk. Kentucky up early.
Oweh, who has scored 20 or more in 4 of their 5 SEC games, has continued his hot start tonight, Richard Hendricks.
Well, he's taking it into his own hands to get the Wildcats going out of the gate, reading the defense well, shooting in the mid-range, getting out in passing lanes with steals, leading to easy buckets on the other end. And this is your preseason SEC Player of the Year in Oweh, and he's starting to show his top form.
And there was a lot of talk about him not looking that way early. Look at the numbers for the first 6 games. Part of that was he spent a lot of time in the preseason on the shelf with an injury. And the other part of it is he's in a different role this year. And finally, according to Mark Pope, he's starting to embrace who he is as a player. The guy that was selected as the SEC preseason Player of the Year, and not trying to play to whatever the external expectations are of someone with that title.
Well, it can be a challenge. You're a team that's picked, one of the leaders to win the league in the preseason Player of the Year. And quite frankly, he came over from Oklahoma in a role that had a lot of other veteran players, which he was able to flourish in his role as a leader, but also a secondary type situation when it comes to leadership.
And even last year for this Kentucky team that really outperformed expectations, there were 6 fifth-year seniors on that Kentucky team. So even last year, despite how good he was never looked at by his teammates as the guy in the way that he is this season.
Well, it often can be that way when you're playing with older players on your roster. They have a supreme level of confidence, but this year you're starting to see the confidence exude in Oweh and the leadership, and it's showing early on in this game.
Swain at the line for 2 shots after he was fouled. Going into our last commercial break by Mo Dioubate. No team in the country is fouled at a higher rate than the Texas Longhorns. Nearly a quarter of Texas's points this year have come from the charity stripe, and they lead it by 1. Texas, number 23, well, Saturday here on the SEC Network, we've got a quadruple header of men's basketball games starting for you at 1 Eastern. Vandy trying to get back in the win column after a loss to Arkansas. Hogs put up 93 on Vanderbilt over the weekend.
Arkansas looked like a well-oiled machine. 13 dunks in their performance against Vanderbilt. Coach Cowell has his team playing good basketball.
Jordan Pope with a run out. Draws contact on Oweh and just misses out on a 3-point play.
Well, that was a savvy play right there by Jordan Pope. He was able to come up with that steal. When he was get out in the break, here he is. He gets the loose ball as it bounces to him, but he takes the peek back and spots Oweh and slams on the brakes, takes the contact, draws the foul, going to the free throw line.
Of course, he is this team's point guard. That comes with major expectations and responsibilities. But Sean Miller said his biggest contribution is as a decision maker for this team. And Jordan Pope took some of the responsibility on his own shoulders, Richard, after the team's lackluster effort over the first 4 minutes of their loss to Texas A&M over the weekend. Tied at the half. They were down by 10 after the first 4 minutes of that second half.
Well, he's a player that you can see he takes a cerebral approach just on that last effort. You're able to see Cam Williams taking advantage of the defense sinking in. He lines one up. But Pope is going to be a significant player on how far Texas can go. And he makes a lot of really good plays. And this is a game he's going to have to make even more on the road.
Well, Weaver has been aggressive to start this game. 2 buckets at the rim. Chandler inside Moreno, walled off Vocatitis. It'll stay here. Last touch by the 7-footer of Texas. 11 to shoot for Kentucky.
Well, you see the defense is sinking in right there. And Cam Williams able to take advantage of the extra pass and knocking it down.
Williams with a made 3 in now 10 consecutive games. That's a foul on Texas with 7 on the shot clock, and Kendall Weaver didn't like the call.
Weaver very active on the defensive end.
And now an offensive foul on Kentucky. That's the 5th on the team. And it will go against Cam Williams. 2 more fouls, and Texas will be in the bonus for the rest of the first half.
Well, it's not only just, you know, the physicality in which they play with. This is a very savvy team. Jordan Pope was able to take a little bit of the dive right there on that last possession to get the ball to go back to Texas.
Backdoor feed. Weaver. Altered shot by Dioubate. Williams. Dioubate, offensive foul on the rebound effort. BBN doesn't like it.
No, but I think they got this one right. Lowe Dioubate a little too aggressive there on Kendall Weaver. As you can see with the bull rush, gives him a little extension, pushing him. And that's a situation right there if you Lowe Dioubate. If you want to get better leverage to get that offensive rebound, come in and lead with your hips. You can also get your hands up a little bit to show the officials that you're not trying to push and get some type of extension on that, and then he will get better leverage to pull that easy offensive rebound with the size advantage.
Dioubate goes to the bench with 2 fouls. 6 on the Cats. Pope defended by Aberdeen. Step back fadeaway. Quaintance sent away by Moreno, and the 2 big men getting into it in the paint. Loose ball corralled by Aberdeen, and the fans loving that effort by their freshman big man. Oweh with the hammer! Upstairs! Hello! And I know you like that physicality in the paint. Those young men are getting after it.
Yes, I do. You got a 19-19 ball vein. These 2 players are going at it, but it's a Oweh. Say, I'm going to take it into my own hands and go up top over the big fella. Beautiful display of athleticism by Oweh.
Doesn't it just seem like he's having more fun playing basketball over these last 3 weeks?
You got to. Listen, this is college basketball. This is only one time in your life. You got a packed arena, people here to check you out and play. Leave it all out on your line and enjoy the game.
The foul was on Moreno. And now Texas in the bonus the rest of the way. Talked about Texas getting to the line more than any team in the country. Quaintance draws more fouls per 40 minutes than any player in the country, nearly 10.
Well, he does a tremendous job of ducking in, and he's relentless on that. It's not only ducking in when he's looking to receive the ball. He also creates alleys for his teammates to drive because he sustains those duck-ins. It's almost like an offensive lineman finishing the block into the whistle.
Was the freshman of the year in the American Conference last year at Florida Atlantic. Oweh probing, creating space. He is silky with the basketball, and he's now in double figures with 10.
Well, he's reading this defense magnificently. He understands when he comes into the paint that if he can do that snake dribble, then he'll have plenty of time to operate.
Great strip. Colin Chandler in the front court. Another pick 6 for the Cats defense.
Phenomenal job, the active hands for Kentucky.
Oh, what a move by Quaintance. Spins in the 2-hand flush.
And now you see the skill set of the 7-foot Lithuanian.
was the MVP of the U20 Eurobasket tournament a couple of summers ago before entering college. High upside for that sophomore.
Well, if you've ever been to Lithuania, that is basketball country. You talk about so many prestigious organizations in Europe that have produced some top-level players. Kentucky's been active. 3 steals already in this game, and this time it's Colin Chandler getting out on the fast break, going up top. But Modest Voikaitis with the beautiful finish, the quick spin on the baseline, and throwing down the hammer.
Well, over the years, Sean Miller, now in his first year as the Texas head coach, has become known as a bit of an international player developer. Richard Hendricks, look at all the young men that have come through Sean Miller's programs that are now in the NBA, including Benedict Mathurin, who was 1 game away from winning an NBA championship last year.
Well, he's got a bevy of high talented players, and he's able to get these guys to come over from the international ranks and be big-time contributors. And he's a coach who's known for developing players, but for him to be able to build his rosters with American players and international players and have a culture of players that can play winning basketball, it speaks to his commitment of trying to grow the game.
And now you don't always have to go over to Europe to get him. You can get him in the transfer portal like they did Modest Voikaitis.
Well, this is a good one to get, and he gets all of his work done right there, 2 feet by the basket. He gets great positioning down low. He's physical, and he's also relentless on the offensive boards.
One of 3 international players on the Texas roster this year. Lassina Traore also getting significant minutes, though today he picked up 2 quick fouls. We have not seen him since. It's a Texas team that's a little bit short-handed. We have not seen Cam Heide. He remains on the bench in warm-up pants with a sick bag in his hands. He was initially, Richard, in the starting lineup, late scratch as he was vomiting right before tip-off, and was removed and replaced by Simeon Wilcher.
Yeah, Heide, a big piece of this team, not able to figure out how to get it going.
Meanwhile, Cam Williams at the line. Has a 3 in 10 straight games, including 5 in the comeback win here at Rupp Arena just a week and a half ago against Mississippi State.
Kentucky jumping in a little bit of token pressure to try to change up the rhythm of the Longhorns.
Just 1 assist tonight for the Longhorns. Everything has been tough and contested in the half court by the Cats. Late in the timer again, it's Weaver. Mark. Short. And Chandler corralled.
Really good defensive stand by Kentucky on the last one. Great activity in the passing lanes and finished off with a strong defensive rebound.
Moreno looking to give it up. Chandler back to Moreno with 10 to shoot. Here's Aberdeen, tries a 3 and hits. Now they're going to count it a deep 2. Foot was on the line for the Florida transfer.
As he tried to plead to the official, KB Burdett. Is it 3? No, it's a 2-pointer, but really good execution there by Kentucky. And a lot of poise.
This has been a tightly contested game. 4-point lead, the biggest until now. Weaver, another dunk. All 6 of his points have come in the paint for Texas.
Well, there you see the assist by Texas and sharing the ball on the inside. And Weaver with a beautiful cut to get to the basket.
Swain fell. Oweh was open for a moment. Aberdeen didn't see it. And now picked by Swain. Pope steps into a 3. Texas 0 for 7 from distance.
Not a lot of balance there.
Moreno with the run-out jam. And a timeout taken by Sean Miller.
Excellent job by Kentucky. Did a tremendous job of getting back in defensive transition. And then after the defensive transition, a head up and an on-target pass by Chandler, and Malachi Moreno out running and finishing.
This was one area of the game that we wondered, Richard, ahead of time, who would win the battle in fast break points. Both top 15 in the country in fast break scoring. However, tonight, Kentucky +8 in that category with 6 minutes to go in the first half.
And they've done it in so many ways. They've got out in the passing lanes to get some easy baskets. They've been hustling to loose balls and been able to turn on the jets and get going for an easy layup. And then you can see the big man, Malachi Moreno, understanding that he had an advantage, turns on the gas, a heads-up outlet pass right on the money.
Matt Schumacher, the former Alabama big man, Richard Hendricks. I know you get excited when you see a 7-footer running the floor the way Malachi Moreno just did.
Listen, the game has changed, but if you have players that can commit to some of the fundamental things of running the groove right to the front of the rim, demanding the basketball, you can put a lot of pressure on the defense. This is a game that you're seeing two bigs in Malachi Moreno for Kentucky. And then on the flip side, Mattis Boykatitis doing a really good job of trying to establish deep position down low. Got to enjoy that type of basketball.
Hey, I'm enjoying it. By the way, they did review that deep 2 by Denzel Aberdeen and decided that it was, in fact, a 3. Here's another look at it. Foot was just behind the line. And so it is a 5-point lead for Kentucky, the largest of the night to this point.
Aberdeen pled his case, and he was able to show that he was correct.
Tremont Mark still scoreless. Kick out Weaver. And the Longhorns remain over from deep. Second opportunity here for the Cats. They have shot 46% from the field. A lot of it coming in the paint. Oweh drives. And another tap out. Oweh relocates for 3. But there's a snatch by Swain, now off and going. Finds Mark. First points of the night for Texas's leading scorer in SEC play.
Well, Texas did a really good job right there in that fast break. They ran wide with a lot of balance. A few of their fast break situations, they've been very congested and not organized.
Swain yelling for his team to go. Up and under. Was swatted by Garrison. And it'll stay here with Texas. 20 to shoot. Women's basketball takes over the SEC network every Thursday. So tomorrow another great doubleheader. Clara Strack, Tony Morgan in a top 20 showdown. Tennessee and Kentucky. And then LSU and Flau'jae Johnson with the nation's leading offense taking on Texas A&M at 9 p.m. right here on SEC Net.
And some really good games. LSU starting to get their swagger back, and Kenny Brooks' squad with Kentucky trying to see if they can figure things out without Tiani Key, a really athletic player, and they'll have a big test with an undefeated Lady Vol squad.
3-point game, less than 5 minutes to play in the first half. Swain ties it with Texas's first 3.
As you mentioned, he's been struggling to shoot from the outside, but there you see he's able to get in that rhythm dribble and line one up, tie ball game.
Johnson floater, no. Boykatitis was there to reject. Wiltshire takes off, and Texas leads. Timeout, Mark Pope.
Sean Miller made that timeout, and he was able to make some adjustments, and Texas has been able to do it by getting out and running. They've done a really good job on a 7-0 run. It's Dalen Swain dropping that one off in transition, and it's Wiltshire going up top for the Longhorns.
From the outside, but that's kept them in it. See you soon, guys.
Yeah, thanks, gentlemen. Otega Oweh leading all Kentucky scorers with 10 points on 5 of 12. Meanwhile, on the other side, Dalen Swain, well, he's just so patient, isn't he? Just figuring out Richard where and when in the game he can get to his spots. Now with 12 points, 4 boards, 2 assists.
Well, he's an efficient player. He shoots over 55% from the field. And there he is. He understands where to pick his spots. He can read the mismatches that he has around the court, and he plays with a tremendous level of energy.
Like Oweh of Kentucky, Dalen Swain in a much different role this year than he was previously in his career. Certainly a pivotal piece to Xavier's run to the NCAA tournament, particularly last season. But never before has he been at the top of the scouting report, a quote-unquote marked man, in the words of Coach Miller. And night in and night out, they have to have him play great in order to be competitive in this league.
He's a testament of player development. And Sean Miller spoke about how he developed a relationship for such a long time, recruiting. And here he is, comes over to Texas. He's changed his body. He's added mass and weight to his frame. And he's continued to add confidence to his game.
When they met him, Swain was 170. He's now 6'8", 225.
Wow.
At the time, a scrawny but very talented high school player in the state of Ohio, was twice the Division II Player of the Year. Another great defensive set here from Kentucky. Late in the shot clock for Texas. Pope trying to get free, draws a foul on Chandler, and back to the line go the Longhorns. Gymnastics is back, which means Richard's favorite night of the week. It's Friday Night Heights. Every Friday night right here on the SEC Network. It starts at 6:30 p.m. and this week a little something different. A national championship celebration. We go all access inside Oklahoma's run to the Natty last year.
Yeah, you got to love Friday Night Heights. The best athletes in the conference.
If you were a gymnast at 6, whatever you are, too tall, what would you do?
My best. That's exactly what I would do. Because,
I don't think somebody as tall as you could get on those uneven bars. Your legs would hit the other bar. Aberdeen hits a 3, his second. And that stops a 7-0 Texas run.
Just what Kentucky needed. And it's a guy who's been having the hot hand as of late, Denzel Aberdeen, answering the bell.
Swain looking for a response. Quaintance lost it. And here comes Aberdeen. Oweh rolls to the cup, too heavy. Moreno offensive rebound, putback won't go, and Quaintance rips down the board.
A missed opportunity right there for Kentucky to convert with an easy putback.
Weaver knifing, and Swain resets.
And this is what Texas can do. They can reset it and still run their offense and get a quality shot at the end of the shot clock.
How about that spin cycle by Swain? He now leads all scorers with 14.
Beautiful move, and the patience that he had to reset the offense, and that in and out dribble set up the spin move that freed him up.
Here's Jelavic on the much smaller Simeon Wilcher. Moreno, backdoor feed was jarred loose by Weaver. Pope in a flash, lays it in with the left hand.
Beautiful move, Jordan Pope turning on the gas. He had Jelavic with his back to him and turned it from right to left and was able to get just the crease he needed to get it up off the boards.
Final 90 seconds of the first half. Kentucky has led by as many as 5. This 3-point lead, the largest of the night for Texas. Aberdeen corner 3. Moreno offensive rebound, counted in the foul. 7-foot freshman flexing his physicality in the paint.
That's a phenomenal job. Kentucky gets that switch and mismatch. You got the big man, Malachi Moreno, there on the guard fighting for the offensive rebound with Quaintance out of the paint. And a really good recipe for Kentucky to take advantage of that when you bring the big out away from the basket for Texas.
Second foul on Swain. So now 2 Longhorns with 2 fouls. Meanwhile, Dioubate, the only Wildcat with a pair. Tied at 36, final 60 seconds of the opening half here from Rupp. Mark, tough pull-up jumper at the elbow.
And that was set up, and Colin Chandler took a risk to see if he could get a steal. He gambled and gave Mark an opportunity to get freed up in the soft touch on the stop and pop.
Here's Chandler back the other way. Drew a late whistle from Tony Chiazza. Lost a shoe in the process. And we'll go to the line for 2 shots.
These Kentucky guards really understand that they can slam on the brakes on that snake dribble, and there you see a beautiful shot fake by Colin Chandler. He comes off that screen roll. You slam on the brakes, you got the defender behind you, and he's able to draw the foul from Mark and goes to the free throw line.
We talked to you about Cam Heide of Texas on the bench dealing with illness. Colin Chandler playing tonight despite an illness. Missed their shoot around today. Has been very ill over the last few days since the team got home from their weekend trip to Knoxville, but he's giving it a go and has played substantial minutes in the opening half.
Checking in for Kentucky, our Williams and Garrison. Coming out Moreno and Jelavic. And for Texas, checking in number 0, Jordan.
And Kentucky in the last time making some free throws. They jumped in a little bit of full court pressure. Be interesting to see if there's a made basket. They'll try to see if they can speed up Texas and switch up the rhythm.
And they will.
It's a good strategy by Mark Pope. Token pressure, but you want to make teams think throughout the course of the game for when you're able to flip the switch and turn up the heat.
Been a cleanly played game for the most part. Both teams with just 4 turnovers. About a 10-second differential between game and shot clock to close the half. Weaver going baseline. Slips it in. Vokatitis, no. Mark with a left-hand tap back.
Decisive drive by Kendall Weaver. As soon as he gets it, he puts his head down and drives baseline. That created it.
Shot clock turned off. Aberdeen pops in the lane. Drops it down to beat the buzzer. What an exciting opening 20 minutes from Lexington between 2 teams that have won a combined 5 out of the last 6 games. We are tied at 40 apiece.
And both of these teams have executed and played extremely hard in the first half. This is poised to be a good one in the second.
Welcome back to Lexington, Kentucky. A tie game at the half, 40 apiece. We had 11 ties and 8 lead changes in the opening 20 minutes as we welcome you back courtside from Rupp. Matt Schumacher, the former Alabama big man, Richard Hendricks. Your thoughts on the opening 20 minutes?
Well, I think there were 2 teams that played spirited basketball. They were connected on the offensive end, and it seems poised to be a strong finish in the second half.
Well, certainly the Stars played like we thought they might in the opening 20 minutes of this game. Starting with Swain of Texas, he led all scorers in the first half with double figures. He had 14 on 5 of 9.
Well, he's been extremely efficient. He's got it done in so many ways. He's been active on the O boards and even physical in the low post. He knocked down the tray ball, the lone tray ball for Texas in this first half. And of course, the shifty moves.
Denzel Aberdeen as well. Very good in the opening half. Had 10 points on 4 of 8. Richard, you like some of his actions.
Well, he's been taking advantage of the screen roll situation. Here he is. You've got a good screen set by Garrison, and he's going to snake it and work his way back in front of his defender as Vokatitis is back in drop coverage. He's been successful when he's in this action, finding beautiful shots in the mid-range. And Aberdeen understanding how to read the defense. It's not just the shots in the mid-range in the drop coverage, but coming off these handoff actions with the defender behind and rising up for the tray ball.
He has been so good in second halves during this 3-game win streak for Kentucky. In fact, 18 of his 22 on Saturday at Tennessee came in the second 20 minutes. Cam Williams gets the second half started with a pull-up jumper.
That was a calming shot as he had a lot of poise, shooting that ball over the top of a double team.
Hey, you think Kentucky fans are excited they're not down double digits at halftime?
Well, I think if you're Kentucky fans, you're definitely excited about that. But you're trying to see how this Wildcat squad is going to finish in a physical game.
That's a great finish to that possession by Moreno. A block of Oweh. Oweh the other way, set back, but they will count it. A goaltend on the 7-foot sophomore from Lithuania.
It's a really good start for Kentucky here in the second half. And there you see the big man Moreno growing up in front of you with the rejection with the left hand. And the goaltending as Kentucky is able to get out in transition.
Tremont Mark off the mark. Remember, it was this stretch of the game over the weekend for Texas in their loss to Texas A&M in which Sean Miller felt like the game got away from him. First 4 minutes out of the halftime locker room. It was tied in that game against the Aggies. But at the 16-minute mark, they trailed by 10. Williams, push shot short, and a whistle on Texas. They are determining who that foul was on. Tony Chiazza just went over to the scorer's table because they weren't sure. And the foul was on Jordan Pope, his second.
Kentucky seemed to come out of the locker room with some spirited drives. And getting nothing this early start in the lead and 5-0 run to start this one off is huge. You're starting to see this Wildcat roster. You're getting more confidence as you have a shortened rotation. And they're starting to see if they can put together a complete game.
Largest lead of the game for Texas. Cam Williams a little bit hobbly on this end of the floor. Trying to play through it, defending Simeon Wilcher. That's an errant pass by Tremont Mark, and Sean Miller is heated. Now Mark picks it off, trying to make good on the mistake. First points of the second half for Texas.
And he taps his chest and said, "That's my bad, coach." As he understands the team's got to focus. He's got Cam Williams checking out of the game on injury.
Checking in for Kentucky is Colin Chandler.
Like Cam Williams, not sure what happened to him. We're going to keep you updated on his status throughout the course of the second half. Remember, he went to the free throw line, made 2 free throws, then hobbled back on defense. Mark Pope got him subbed out. This is a Kentucky team that has been ravaged by injury over the course of the year, though Williams has not been one of those injured players. Tonight, again, without Jaden Quaintance for the 4th consecutive game, and no Jalen Lowe the rest of the year. But they do have the SEC preseason player of the year, and he's looked like it again tonight.
And that was great recognition right there by Oweh as Malachi Moreno shielded off of his man, and he was able to snake that one and get right behind him, creating an alley for the easy layup.
Wilcher off the screen, trying to thread it down to Oweh. It just looked like they were too close to one another there, but a kick ball on Kentucky. It'll stay here.
I think they might have got the foul as Oweh ducked in right there in the low post. Was able to sell it. Oweh really draws fouls at a high rate.
You're right. There's a second foul on Malachi Moreno. And the fans hated the call. 20,000 plus on hand tonight in Lexington.
Really good job by Moreno moving his feet.
Kick out Pope. Spot up 3 won't go, and Swain let it go to avoid the foul.
And that's a defensive possession you're going to show on the film tomorrow as Malachi Moreno moves his feet on the switch and then finishing with a good block out.
First turnover of the half for Kentucky. Here's Swain, baseline blocked. Moreno with the foul. And that is number 3 on the 7-foot freshman from Georgetown, Kentucky.
Just as you praise him on the mismatch, here he is rotating over and not keeping his verticality. And a really good job by Swain to draw the foul.
Remember, Kentucky got into the bonus early in the first half with still 8 minutes to play. Swain back at the line where he is 4 for 4 tonight. No team in the country gets to the free throw line more than the Texas Longhorns. They are averaging nearly 29 free throw attempts per game. Tonight, 9 for 10 from the stripe. And now Cam Heide checks in for the first time. Remember, he was in the starting lineup pre-tip, late scratch because he was dealing with an illness, vomiting, had a sick bag on the sideline for the first 20 minutes of the game. First minutes for the Purdue transfer here.
It was good to see him able to get it together just in time for the second half. We'll have to see what type of impact he can make.
Good board. Garrison couldn't finish. Second opportunity. Chandler swings. And a whistle on Simeon Wilcher. His first. One of the markers of Kentucky's success, particularly in the second halves of their 3-game win streak, has been ball movement. Mark Pope really emphasizing that as a strength for his team in their comeback victories over the last week and a half.
And Mark Pope's offense, it really requires that the big man has to make a lot of decisions at the high post, and they're starting to really grow in it, particularly Malachi Moreno. Brandon Garrison will have to make some decisions with the balls on dribble handoffs and backdoor cut passes.
What do you think about that foul? Number 2 on Oweh.
I tend to agree with the faithful here in Rupp Arena. And sometimes you're just caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. Oweh doesn't seem like much of a foul there. Swain loses his footing. And it's a tough break right there for Oweh to pick up a foul on minimal contact.
Foul trouble looming for Kentucky. 2 players with 2, 1 with 3. Here's Quaintance, and he draws a foul on Garrison. 4th already on the Cats. 4 minutes into the second half. It's a 4-point game from Rupp Arena. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Rupp Arena. Is that the Pope in the student section? They are back on campus after winter break. Here on the SEC Network, we've got a quadruple header on Saturday. It features a plethora of great matchups, including Vandy at Mississippi State, who, by the way, has lost 3 consecutive games when leading by double figures. One of those was against this Kentucky team. And we also have LSU at Arkansas. Kentucky has been on the run of all runs, Richard, trailing by double figures, including 18 or more over the last 2 games. The disparity between their first halves and second halves this year against power opponents has been stark.
Yes, it has. And they seem to be back on the right track here in the second half. But the first half was the strong play that they had tonight against a Texas team that seemed to be well connected, playing really good defense and a physical brand. But a lot of time left in this ball game to see what the Wildcats have in store.
For the Wildcats, Cam Williams went to the locker room before the under-16 timeout of the second half. We have not received any official word on his status for the remainder of this game, but it was bad enough that Mark Pope had to take him out. He was limping around on defense, and he has not come back to the bench even after that last media timeout. We will keep you posted as we learn more. Meanwhile, Matas Quaintance at the line for Texas. Already 4 fouls on This is a team that is well equipped to get to the free throw line. They do it as well as anyone in the country, including Vocatitis. Just the second miss of the line tonight for the Longhorns.
Now, the fouls that they draw wear the team down tremendously, and that's when they've been able to have some games, particularly on the road at Alabama, that was huge for them down the stretch.
Dioubate sat for a long stretch at the end of the first half with 2 fouls. Trying to draw a foul on Vocatitis, will not. And here comes Dalen Swain.
And that's a cat and mouse game right there. And Vocatitis is guarding Dioubate, and he just staying back and daring him to shoot the shot. That's where you just got to sit there and line up that 10-foot jumper and stick it with confidence.
Swain led all scorers in the first half with 14. Gives it up to Pope. 5 to shoot. Pope high off the window with the left hand.
Beautiful job by Jordan Pope. He came through and extended that ball with his left hand to freeze Dioubate, and then the scoop and the touch for the finish.
Kentucky nearing a 3-minute scoring drought, and a whistle underneath on Dalen Swain. That's number 3 on Texas's lead man.
Well, Diabate's got responsibility to stay with Vocatitis, and as Pope freezes him with that left hand extension, it's just enough space to allow Dioubate to not rotate over for the rejection at the last second.
Now here's a question: if you're Sean Miller, how long do you keep Dalen Swain out with 14:50 to go and 3 fouls?
Well, it only depends on how your team is able to sustain right now. They're playing really good basketball, getting stops on the defensive end. The longer that you can keep them out, it gives you an opportunity to have a fresh Swain down the stretch.
Vocatitis rejected by Garrison despite being beat initially.
Got away with a hook on the baseline spin, but Garrison stayed with it with the rejection. That's when, if you're Vocatitis, you want to go under the goal and use the rim to shield you from the shot blocker.
Aberdeen wiggling and draws a foul. So crafty at getting into the lane, picking his spots. He's headed back to the foul line.
Well, Kentucky is doing an outstanding job of executing their game plan. They know that Vocatitis will be back in drop coverage, and you can say this is a bit of a Gortat screen set here by Brandon Garrison. He sets the screen, and then he screens on Vocatitis, which allows Aberdeen to get the seam to the basket.
Well, Denzel Aberdeen averaging 18 points per game on 60% from the floor over the last 3 games. And the one thing that Mark Pope said that has really stood out to him, his reads have been fantastic with the ball in his hands.
Well, you can see it. He's been magnificent tonight in his decision making. Understanding when to shoot the 3 ball off the handoff action. Reading the defense on the weak side well and dishing it off when he needs to be, and being aggressive going all the way to the rim.
Dalen Swain already up off the bench for Texas after the short break. Weaver, another dunk. All of his points, 8 of them, have come in the paint tonight.
And that was excellent right there by Vocatitis on that short roll. He used his eyes to fool the defense, looking off, and then drops it off to Weaver for the slam.
Oweh got his own miss, banks it in. 16 for the SEC preseason player of the year.
Both of these teams start to execute very well.
Wilcher off the mark. Texas's 3-point shooting has not been good tonight, just 1 for 11. Garrison finds Dioubate. Full head of steam. Counted in the foul. Chance at 3 for the Alabama transfer.
The and 1 by Dioubate. He does a great job trailing in transition. They find him. Vocatitis not able to keep his verticality. Dioubate able to switch that ball over to the right hand and finish with the contact.
Swain back into the game, as is Lassina Traore. First time in the second half for the big man of Texas.
Excellent defense by Kentucky. Excellent.
Oweh comes to help. Swain regathers, 4 to shoot. Weaver push, bounces in. He has had the shooter's touch. 10 points for Kendall Weaver.
And he maintained his poise into the last second with an outstanding presence of mind. Kentucky doing a great job negotiating those Spain pick and rolls, with Weaver able to come up at the right time.
Aberdeen through contact. No. Weaver rips down the board. Now wants to push. Weaver knifing to the cup, goes coast to coast. 12 points for Weaver.
He was weaving his way through that, going end to end. Electric play by Kendall Weaver.
That is what they expected him to be this year. In his second season in the program, under first-year head coach Sean Miller. Garrison doubled, back out, less than 10 to shoot. Here's Oweh. Defended by Dalen Swain. 3 to shoot. Oweh step back. Looked right at Tony Chiazza, asking for a foul, won't get it. Swain nearly lost it, saves it to Heidi. Two-point game, nearing 11 minutes to play. Swain, a look at the shot clock. 3 to go. Swain drills a 3 and Texas leads.
Wow. Big shot. Dalen Swain sizing up his man from the perimeter and knocking it down to take the lead.
He has Texas's only 2 threes of the game. And the Longhorns in the midst of another 7-0 run.
Well, this is a strong individual action. And Dalen Swain able to get it done. But this time here, it's Kendall Weaver. Johnny on the spot with the soft touch. And turning on the Jets in transition with the beautiful ball handling ability. Texas up in Lexington.
Welcome back to Rupp Arena as we take a look at today's Good Hands plays, brought to you by Allstate. They are in the fast break, Richard Hendricks, where both of these teams excel.
Well, Kentucky not doing a great job in transition there, but Texas getting out and running. And on the flip side, it's the activity of Oweh with the steal and the slam.
This game started 10-2. Fast break points in favor of Kentucky since it's Texas plus 10 in the fast break.
Well, Texas has started to find a lot of balance. They seem to be a little bit congested when they had opportunities to run, but they're getting the ball in the middle of the court and getting their wing players out running wide, giving them options to finish, and they've been making all the right decisions in transition.
Well, Kentucky, if you're just joining us, playing shorthanded tonight. Of course, they're without Jaden Quaintance for the 4th consecutive game. Jalen Lowe, as it was announced last week, out for the year with a shoulder injury requiring surgery. But earlier in the second half, they lost Cam Williams to an apparent lower body injury. We have not seen him return after he exited the game through the tunnel with 18 minutes to go.
Cam Williams really set the tone for Kentucky coming out in the second half. He had an isolation bucket and got to the free throw line. And then all of a sudden, as you mentioned, had to exit the game. And the momentum has started to turn in the way of Texas. We'll see what Kentucky can do as far as regrouping after that last break.
The other thing you have in Cam Williams is a very capable three-point shooter, spreads the floor for Kentucky. And again, it's a team that has shot 40% or better, Richard, from 3 during their 3-game win streak coming into the night. This is out of the Mark Pope timeout. Jelavic banks it in. Got trapped. Used that size to get out of it.
And that's exactly what he used, that extension over the top. He was able to get a pivot in at 6'11" and kiss it off the glass.
Snaps a 7-0 Texas run. They've had a couple of those tonight. Simeon Welcher blocked. Moreno now in a foot race. Oweh was fouled by Welcher. And they may take a look at this one. Yes, our crew chief Doug Shows is going to review the foul on Simeon Welcher. We will take the break with them and give you the official ruling when we return. 1-point game in Lexington. Welcome back to Rupp Arena, where the foul on Simeon Welcher has been upgraded to a flagrant 1 for unnecessary contact. KB Burdett Jr. just came over to the table and said, upon review, Richard, they determined that he did not make a play on the basketball, and so 2 shots for Kentucky plus the ball after the flagrant 1 upgrade.
And that's going to be a big call on this flagrant run to give Kentucky an opportunity to increase their momentum. And Oweh with an opportunity to go to the free throw line to add to his point production can be huge for the Wildcats down the stretch.
And I think that second bullet point there is really what got Welcher. Not a legitimate play on the basketball, just swiped at the hands of Oweh, and he heads to the bench with 2 fouls.
It was the swipe down and then the tug to finish it off as he got a piece of Oweh's elbow and able to finish off the foul. But a big opportunity here for Kentucky. We'll see if they'll be able to capitalize.
6th foul on Texas. A lot of those have come over the last handful of minutes. Remember, it was Kentucky who got 4 quick ones in the opening 4 minutes of the second half. Since it's been Texas doing all the fouling, and now 1 more and Kentucky in the bonus the rest of the way. Oweh will go to the line for 2 shots. Plus, Kentucky will get the ball. And this has the potential for a 5-point swing, perhaps. And Oweh has just been so consistent in league play. Has scored 20 points or more in 4 of their opening 5 games. Tonight has 18 points on 8 of 19 shooting.
Well, he knows his point production is going to be huge if Kentucky.
And Traore picks up his 3rd foul, trying to defend the lob to Malachi Moreno.
And that's a beautiful job by Kentucky coming after the timeout. They're going to design this lob over the top. Moreno sells the fake like he's going out towards the corner and allows the defense to shape up. He tries to go up top for the alley-oop. Draws the foul.
So now 5 Texas players with at least 2 fouls. 3 of them in Swain and Traore with 3 fouls. And Traore will come out of the game. Matas Vokatitis back in for the Longhorns. And the Wildcats will be shooting free throws with each successive foul for the rest of the game. That could prove to be major down the stretch in Lexington. For a game that has so much meaning for both teams. Still very early, a lot of basketball to play, but Joe Lunardi has both in the tournament right now. Texas as his last team in. Swain fighting for the loose ball. Last touch by Kentucky's Oweh. 16 to shoot for Texas.
That's a big opportunity right here. A tricky spot to inbound it on the baseline as they're looking to go on a 1-4 low set. And Texas out of sorts on that baseline out of bounds opportunity.
There's Tremont Mark inside. Vokatitis on a much smaller Colin Chandler.
And that's a beautiful job right there by Texas, taking advantage of the mismatch. If you're Kentucky, you have to recognize who's guarding Vokatitis and put a big on a big. Great job on the duck in.
And there's Chandler the other way, playing with a stomach bug. Was not at shoot around this morning for Kentucky, gutting it out tonight. and getting high fives from his Wildcats teammates. Sean Miller calls a 30-second timeout.
Sean Miller called a timeout earlier in the game and made some adjustments that allowed Texas to go on a big run. We'll have to see what they'll be able to take advantage of. Kentucky's done a really good job of taking advantage of these screen roll sets. And here, you see you got Chandler's going to come off of this. And when she comes off of this screen that's being set by Moreno, what he's going to do is he's going to snake back towards this one as Moreno clears out this alley for him to get an easy layup. So they're doing a really good job of taking advantage of the lead blocking of the big men.
Colin Chandler tonight, 6 points, 6 rebounds, and an assist. Kentucky has done so much damage in the paint tonight. 30 of their 63 points have come in the painted area. 5-point deficit for Texas. Coming out of the Sean Miller timeout, 9:30 to play in Lexington.
Kentucky coming out of the break, switching up the defense, showing a little bit of 2-3 zone.
First time we've seen it tonight. Mark gives it up to Swain, 5 to shoot, spins past Jelavic, come on! Underneath with the reverse. 3-point game.
My goodness.
That's a Sports Center top 10 effort by Dalen Swain, who has a game-high 21.
That's a major league move right there.
We have received word that Cam Williams is out for the remainder of the game with a foot injury. Colin Chandler splashes a 3. Back-to-back buckets for Chandler.
It's safe to say that Chandler is starting to feel good as he's heating up, making some really good decisions, and he finds it from distance.
Just the 4th 3 of the game for the Cats. Mark in trouble. Rejected by Moreno. Still plenty of time for Texas. 10 on the timer.
Quaintance wants a touchdown low on the mismatch.
Swain had his pocket picked by Jasper Johnson. Up ahead Chandler. And he draws a foul on Kendall Weaver, who cannot believe it as he helps the cameraman get his equipment back. He's saying he did not touch him.
I tend to agree with Weaver. I didn't see a lot of contact on that end, but this move right here is phenomenal. The in and out to the spin and the reverse off the glass with the English. Beautiful work. And it looks even better in slow motion.
Yeah, it sure does. He has had monster game after monster game in league play, averaging 17 points on 54%. Remember, he had 34 in the overtime loss to Mississippi State, and had he not fouled out at the end of regulation, that game might have gone Texas's way, and they're looking at a 3-2 record in league play instead of 2-3. Meanwhile, Colin Chandler's on a mini run of his own. Has scored the last 7 points for Kentucky. Largest lead for the Wildcats.
Texas has been really good in these situations. Back against the wall, need a bucket, have executed very well.
Inside Quaintance, double comes from Chandler. Quaintance, no, tap back won't go. Rebound, Jelavic. Chandler's been the hot hand, they feed it to him. In the paint, Chandler floater off the mark, foul on Texas, and back to the line will go Kentucky. Wildcats starting to gain some cushion. They've made 5 of their last 7. Largest lead of the night at 8. SEC play has not disappointed. Highly competitive. I think the Hogs raised some eyebrows with their dominant win over Vanderbilt. Georgia hanging on against Missouri. Later on tonight, Mississippi State trying to snap a 3-game skid, taking on Texas A&M. In a league, Richard Hendricks, where there remain just 2 one-loss teams in conference play, Florida, and of all teams, Bucky McMillan's Texas A&M Aggies.
Well, I don't know if that surprises me, as Bucky McMillan has been a great coach for a long time. Started off at Mountain Brook High School in Alabama and then goes to Samford and has the 3-time SoCon Coach of the Year. Here he is, his first year in the SEC, and he's put the league on notice. But it's a lot of time in the SEC to see who's going to separate themselves and be at the top.
Kentucky has separated itself a little bit from Texas over the last couple of minutes. They've made 5 out of their last 7 shots. They've gotten the Longhorns into foul trouble. They lead by 8, their largest lead of the game at this moment. Meanwhile, Dalen Swain with his 4th 20-point performance of the season, and Otega Oweh nearing his 5th 20-point game of just league play. We've only played 5 league games to this point. This tonight, the 6th for both. And Colin Chandler, who went on a 7-0 run by himself, is in double figures for the second straight game, Richard. He had not scored in double figures since early December against Gonzaga.
Chandler picking up good time to start to catch fire. A 10-point lead, and the crowd is starting to pick it up in Rupp Arena.
Swain counted in the foul. Needed it from their best player. That stops a 7-0 Kentucky run.
Yeah, that's a really good job by Dalen Swain, and Kentucky's defense was connected. But it was that last swipe down right there. Was able to draw the foul. You talked about getting in the weight room and the added muscle by Swain, and you see him putting it on display.
Sean Miller's been recruiting him since he was in the 11th grade. You mentioned putting on the muscle. He's up 55 pounds since that initial recruitment of Sean Miller.
That's a good thing for him to be up 55 pounds. I don't know if...
What is he eating is what I want to know. And how is he keeping it on in the midst of playing 2 SEC games a week? Oweh using the dribble. Walled off by Swain. Back to Oweh from Jelavic. Malachi Moreno playing with 3 fouls, as is Oweh. Chandler with 5 to shoot. Gives it up, Aberdeen, 3 to shoot. Draws a foul on Traore. Kendall Weaver wanted to travel, won't get it, and that is the 4th foul on the grad transfer from the Ivory Coast.
Aberdeen does a really good job. He gets all the way in there, comes to that jump stop in the shot fake, and he might have gotten away with a little bit of a shuffle of the feet, but nonetheless going to the line. Sean Miller trying to plead his case, and he definitely has one.
Women's Hoops takes over the SEC Network every Thursday. Tomorrow, another nice doubleheader featuring a plethora of top 25 teams. LSU is averaging nearly 100 points per game. It is the most in the country, and they are fun to watch. Check them out in action tomorrow night on the SEC Network.
Kim Mulkey has another strong team. Got off to a slow start in SEC play, but they've rebounded. Michaela Williams, Flau'jae Johnson, a host of really good players for the LSU Tigers.
Texas trying to chip away at this 8-point deficit here. 6.5 to go on the road in Lexington. Swain was fouled by Oweh. That's number 4 on the SEC preseason player of the year.
We talked about the early second half foul trouble being a significant player down the stretch of this game. And here you can see Dalen Swain. He's got the mismatch and the isolation he wants. And Oweh is caught in no man's land.
Oweh remains on the floor. One more foul, Texas in the bonus. Swain in the paint. Floater is good. Dalen Swain with 26.
That's a beautiful move. It's the balance in which that he plays. He takes his time.
Chandler wide open. That's a three.
Outstanding recognition by Denzel Aberdeen to spot Colin Chandler wide open in the corner. And he lines it up.
Up ahead to Chandler with the hammer! 20,000 on their feet. Timeout, Sean Miller.
You talk about electric plays. And it's Colin Chandler getting on his horse and taking flight with an outstanding display of athleticism. Number 5 in white right there playing above the rim.
Career high 18 points for Colin Chandler, perhaps having his version of the Jordan flu game. Remember, he missed shoot-around today with an illness. Has been battling it all week since the team returned from Knoxville, and he's given Kentucky their largest lead of the night at 11.
I tell you, if I'm Colin Chandler, I'm missing the next shoot-around again. If I'm playing that level of basketball, he took off on that dunk. He got on his launch pad multiple times this game. He's been magnificent in ball screen action to find the cup, and then he's had the deep range going when he's been able to get freed up from beyond.
This game was tied at 40 apiece at halftime. Kentucky has become known as a second-half team, Richard, in SEC play. They have shown it tonight. Plus 11 so far in this second half against the Texas team that just recently handed Vanderbilt its first loss and beat a top 20 Alabama team on the road. How do the Longhorns get back into this one?
Well, it's a pivotal moment, and they're going to have to lean on it on the defensive end, an area that they have struggled to find some level of chemistry with this squad. With 5 minutes 41 seconds to go, they're going to have to be a little bit more disruptive, which is not in the DNA. They play a little bit more of a conservative style on the defensive end, but they're going to have to turn it up to see if they can get some easy baskets.
They have forced just 6 turnovers tonight. Marks 3, no. Bocatitis out to Pope. And their three-point struggles have been dire. There is a foul on Kentucky. It will result in a 1-and-1. And I believe it's against Trent Noah, who just checked into the game. Meanwhile, Texas just 2 for 15 from 3. Right there underneath, perhaps holding Weaver initially.
That would be the correct call, as you can see. Wrapped him up. And these are moments in the game. You want to make sure you lean on your fundamentals as the crowd in here gets a chance to see that play on replay. And they definitely don't agree with that one.
You don't say.
Maybe just a tad.
You can squeeze 24,000 into this Southeastern Conference gem. They're close to it tonight for an all-important conference showdown with Texas. Wildcats started league play 0-2. They have since won 3 in a row, and there's a foul. Now hang on a second. It was a shot clock issue pointed out by KB Burdett Jr. And now it'll be side out with 25 to shoot for Kentucky. Offensive foul on Trent Noah. He's played less than a minute tonight and picked up 2 fouls in the midst of it. And remember, this Kentucky team may be going a little bit deeper down its bench without Cam Williams for the rest of the game with a foot injury.
And this is just a learning experience right here for Trent Noah. You have 2 possessions, getting a little too handsy on the box out. You're coming off that pin down and they switch it and you get your hands into the chest. Set your defender up with your footwork and lean on the fundamentals using your hips. And that's how you allow yourself to have the separation.
What a play defensively by Dioubate, swiping it on the back end. Chandler trying to get free. Tend to shoot for Noah. Moreno tries a 3. Here is Dalen Swain. Game high 26. Swain backing down Noah. Fadeaway off the side of the backboard. Dioubate. Well, he forced the issue there and is going to the free throw line. First foul on Cam Heide. Kentucky. 2 shots for Kentucky.
Kentucky taking advantage of numbers after the missed shot of Swain. Dioubate getting the ball and putting his head down with a full head of steam there. Drawing the foul on Heide.
Dioubate, a 67% free throw shooter. Before that miss, the Wildcats were 21 for 23 from the line tonight. They have outscored Texas 21-13 at the line. And remember, the Longhorns, one of the best in the country at not only getting to the line but scoring there, averaging 21 makes per game from the stripe. Traore back in for the Longhorns with 4 fouls as Quaintance goes to the bench. Seven, 77-67. 4 minutes and change to go from Rupp Arena.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal. Dioubate taking on the defensive challenge of the top player of Texas. Wins the matchup. Going to be poised for a strong finish with under 4 minutes remaining.
Guys, we lock you down. I'd lock you down.
Thank you, Dari. 10-point lead for the Kentucky Wildcats. They've made 5 of their last 6. This was a tie game at the half, 40 apiece. But Richard, Kentucky has moved the ball exceptionally well. They have made Texas work in the half court, and they have gotten to the free throw line with great frequency in the second half.
That's how they've had the efficiency that they've had as of late. They're 5 of 6 in their last set of field goals. And on the flip side, it's been the stagnant play of Texas offensively. They've had a lot of success with Dalen Swain, but a little bit of isolation ball in the last few moments has not been effective. I'll look to see if Texas gets back into their offense, moving the ball from side to side to make the defense of Kentucky work to find a quality shot.
Swain with a game high 26 on 9 of 14 shooting. But it's going to have to be somebody else for Texas. They have brought help on Dalen Swain all second half.
Modest Quaintance struggling 4 for 13 in this game. But a player who's made big shots before has the capability.
Swain catch and shoot, 3 off the mark. Rebound Noah Trent Noah rather. Trent Noah getting some extra run with Cam Williams on the bench. Watch out. Chandler just missed. Everybody rising to their feet as that one left his hands. Career high 18 tonight for Chandler. Pope walled off. Traore playing with 4 fouls. Missed everything. Swain, offensive rebound and the foul. First field goal for Texas in nearly 3 minutes.
An air ball here on the post move with Swain. Johnny on the spot. He gets it and draws a foul. This is going to be huge as Texas has struggled to manufacture some offense. They're going to have to get it done with some physical play on the offensive rebounding and going to the free throw line. They like to put a full court pressure on Kentucky.
You mentioned it. Aggressive defense has not been the strength of Texas this year.
Well, they have a lot of size with Vocatitis playing a lot in drop coverage, but I do think they have the personnel that can be a little bit more disruptive. A lot of times, it's the attitude that you have to have defensively. That you can be in passive lanes with active hands.
What a feed by Mark inside the Vocatitis.
And a great hesitation dribble by Mark, and the soft hands by Vocatitis to catch that ball with the left and finish it quickly.
Oweh back into the game for Kentucky with 4 fouls. The SEC preseason player of the year with 18. Here he is with a basketball, 10 to shoot. Oweh, Euro, over the top of Vocatitis, and a foul on the floor against the Longhorns.
Oweh with some success on the drive to at least get it up on the boards. And Dioubate doing the work that he does, knifing his way inside, getting his nose right in there with the action, and he's able to get fouled. Those are the possessions. If you're Texas, you have to have an ultra level of focus on your box outs.
They average 17.5 fouls per game as Texas. That ranks 245th in the country. They have fouled Kentucky 19 times in this game. And the Wildcats, almost shockingly, have outscored Texas from the free throw line. A Longhorns team that leads the nation in foul rate. It is a 79-72 lead, 2:15 to go for Texas. 1 timeout left, both teams in the bonus. Kentucky riding a 3-game win streak. Texas with wins in 2 of their last 3. Weaver inside, Vocatitis fouled. And the 7-footer from Lithuania will get 2 shots.
That was really good offensive action by Texas. A lot of patience, the ball moving, and a strong screen. And there you see after that handoff action, Vocatitis rolling to the paint, and the unselfish play of Weaver to find the big down low.
Our Friday night gymnastics doubleheader features number 2 Oklahoma, number 5 Georgia, then number 1 Florida, led by Selena Harris Miranda, the former Pac-12 Gymnast of the Year at UCLA, taking on a top 15 Auburn team. Back to a 5-point game after 2 makes by Vocatitis. And again, the full court pressure from Texas.
Really good strategy. Almost a near hook there by Chandler.
No field goals in nearly 4 minutes for Kentucky. They've done most of their scoring over that stretch at the free throw line. Aberdeen had it picked. Tremont Mark into the teeth and banks it in.
And a great deceleration there by Tremont Mark, and they're jumping back into pressure. Texas is doing a really good job in that ball screen action with Vocatitis back deep, that the guards are fighting hard over the top.
That just seemed like an unnecessary foul there by Tremont Mark. His 3rd after he just cut it to a single-digit game.
And look at Mark doing a good job in the gaps and coming over and taking a gamble on the swipe. And that deceleration move right there allows him to create some space to score over Aberdeen.
To make it a single possession game. This has been a free throw shooting contest for the Wildcats over the last couple of minutes.
Both of these teams have done a really good job at the line.
A reminder coming up next on the SEC Network, Texas A&M, who just took down Texas, taking on a Mississippi State team, trying to get back to their winning ways, riding a 3-game losing streak. That'll follow us right here on the SEC Network. Texas ball. After Kentucky made one at the line, the Wildcats have led by as many as 11 in this half. That was just 5 minutes ago.
Same play as he ran last time that freed up Quaintance. Down low.
Mark pull-up jumper, got it from the elbow.
Tremont Mark's the player that has the ability to hit big shots in the moment, but it's been the offensive set of Texas of running through their stuff to get the clean look. Kentucky will need to convert.
2-point game from Rupp Arena, less than 50 seconds to play. Almost picked by Swain. Aberdeen resets with 10 to shoot. Defended by Tremont Mark. 5 to shoot. Aberdeen probing. Draws a foul on Quaintance. What an effort. Artistic by Denzel Aberdeen.
Aberdeen has been a magician all night long in screen roll situations. He's reading this one with the big dropped back. The little pump fake. Multiple times he's done this tonight. Coming to a jump stop after that snake dribble. The shot fake gets the big in the air, draws the foul. Back to the free throw line for number 1 in white.
He is 4 of 6 from the line tonight. Makes the first. Won a national championship last year with Florida, though not in the same role. Was a major contributor off the bench in his time with the Gators, relishing the opportunity to lead a team this year in Lexington. 82-78, 26.7 left for Texas. 1 timeout left for the Horns, 2 for Kentucky. Do you need a 3 if you're Texas?
No, if I'm Texas, take your time. Take the moment to take the 2-pointer. You have a lot of time left in this game for multiple possessions, and you go ahead and go right to the basket, get the easy 2 as Kentucky's trying to run you off the line.
Pope tries a 3 instead. Rims out. Quaintance had it torn loose by Dioubate. You have to foul. And Texas didn't realize it until more time came off the clock. And now just 13 seconds remain.
Pope got a really good shot. I still think with a lot of time in this game, Texas could have easily taken the 2-pointer with screen set by Quaintance. Jordan Pope got a really good look at the 3-pointer to make it a 1-point game.
Aberdeen, very good free throw shooter. 82% misses the first.
And still a lot of time. If I'm Texas, I'm putting the speed dribble on and seeing if I can get all the way to the rim.
They have made just 2 threes in the game. There's been a lid on the hoop for them beyond the arc. Pope bumped by Dioubate. And now to the free throw line goes Jordan Pope. Well, that's the one thing you probably didn't want to do if you're Kentucky. Foul and send them to the line with the clock stopped.
Not what Dioubate would like to do in that moment. With a little bump.
Pope, 86% from the line, makes the first.
If you are Texas, you want to hit this free throw and sell out in your full court press and see if you can get a steal. quick foul.
Copy. Timeout, Sean Miller. By the way, if you just tuned in and you're looking for Mississippi State and Texas A&M, that is over on the app. We'll get you right out to it right here on SEC Network at the conclusion of our game. No timeouts left for Texas. Kentucky with a 3-point lead. They have 2 timeouts remaining. They have led by as many as 11 in this game. Richard, how much time do you give yourself if you're Texas before you foul, or do you foul right away?
You immediately go for the steal, and if you can't get it, you got to get into foul mode. But a 3-point ball game, you understand who the personnel is on the court if you are Texas. And you have to see who is the weakest free throw shooter and try to funnel the ball to that person and then immediately get into the foul game.
Oweh with 18 points. Denzel Aberdeen with 17, and Colin Chandler a career high 18 to go along with 6 rebounds. It has been a 3-headed monster tonight for the Wildcats. Less than 9 seconds away from their 4th consecutive win.
If I'm Swain, I'm doubling off. Gotta go foul.
Boy, a lot of time came off there. 3.5 seconds.
A lot of time, way too much time. If I'm Texas in that situation, you got Swain on the ball, you give it 1 or 2 ticks and you peel off and try to see if you can double to deny that pass of Aberdeen and force them to throw it deeper to Moreno, a Dioubate, a weaker free throw shooter. But now time will be the biggest opponent.
And part of it there might have been Dalen Swain not wanting to pick up his 5th foul. He does, and he is out for the remainder of the game. He leaves with 29 to lead all scorers.
Well, you got to understand time is just what it is. You can't try to save the foul in this moment, even though you have been extremely effective. You have to go ahead and make the sacrifice for the team to give yourself a chance in the last moments.
Kentucky has outscored Texas 28-18 from the line tonight. Aberdeen will get 2 shots.
For Kentucky, Garrison replaces Moreno.
Texas has made just 2 threes in the game, both of them by Dalen Swain. He's on the bench with 5 fouls. Jordan Pope with 3. Haves off the mark, and Kentucky, who began SEC play 0-2, has won 4 in a row. For Richard Hendricks, our entire SEC Network crew, Matt Schumacher saying good night from Lexington. We send you to Mississippi State and Texas A&M with Eric Freed and King McClure.